"Ma'am, this area is restricted to authorized maintenance personnel," Chief Warrant Officer Davis said, his voice polite but sharp with condescension. His hand came up, palm out, as if to stop her, though Hannah Lewis hadn't moved in minutes. She stood still, hands tucked into the pockets of her blue coveralls, eyes fixed on the silent tank. Her calm presence contrasted the tension crackling around her. "I am authorized," she said evenly, not looking at him, but at the Abrams itself, the way one might study a wounded animal. Davis's jaw flexed. "Your contractor badge gets you into the simulator bay, not here. This is a live maintenance zone, and I can't have civilians interfering." His words were crisp, official. The sound of authority convinced it knew best. The tank before them was supposed to be the centerpiece of a high-profile live fire. Demo for foreign observers, now just a dead hulk with 2 hours left before disaster. Davis waved his tablet filled with error codes and diagnostics. "We've run the full tests 3 times. The Fed engine controller shows no faults. Fuel, air, ignition, everything. S, green, but it won't start." Hannah finally met his eyes. "The book can't solve everything, Chief," she said quietly. "Sometimes you have to listen to the machine," he scoffed. "Listen, it's not talking. It's dead. There are no ghosts in machines," she replied softly. "Just problems you haven't found yet." She stepped forward, boots scuffing the concrete. Her gaze swept the tank with a strange tenderness, as if she recognized it. She traced its armor seams, the faint scars of service, the little details no manual ever mentioned. Davis moved to block her. "Step back, ma'am. My team's certified. We don't need guesses from the gallery." His tone rose with irritation, but his words faltered as his men hesitated, watching. Hannah's eyes flicked toward a nearly invisible seam under the air intake. "Did you check the secondary filter seals behind the baffling?" Davis frowned. "That's a depot-level check." "There's no reason to." "There is," she interrupted. "You've been running drills in fine dust for weeks. That sand fools the sensors. The system thinks it's breathing, but it's suffocating." Her calm precision unnerved him. She wasn't guessing, she knew. "We follow procedure," Davis snapped. "We don't tear apart an engine because of some." Hannah's hand closed around a small worn challenge coin in her pocket. The metal was warm from the sun and from memory. Suddenly, she was somewhere else. A freezing, Iraqi night, the hum of this same turbine steady and alive beside her. Her old sergeant's voice echoed in her headset. "You can't just read her the manual, ma'am. You have to listen to what she's whispering." The sound of a dropped wrench pulled her back to the present. Across the motor pool, a grizzled master sergeant named Reyes was watching her closely, eyes narrowing in recognition. He remembered her. Not as a contractor, but as Captain Hannah Lewis, commander of Crazy Horse Company, 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment. Without a word, he pulled out his phone and texted the base command sergeant major. "CSM, get to the motor pool now. The contractor they're about to kick out is Captain Lewis. She used to command this tank." Minutes later, that single text sent ripples through the entire chain of command. Inside the command tent, Colonel Marcus Thorne's patience was nearly gone when his sergeant major approached, phone in hand. Thorne read the message once. Then again, "Lewis," he muttered. "Get me her file." Moments later, her record flashed across the screen, Bronze Star for Valor, multiple commendations, and a note from her old CO. Captain Lewis possesses an uncanny intuition for armored systems. Her company achieved a 98% readiness rate under combat conditions, the highest in the theater. Then came the final confirmation, her old tank's serial number. The same one sitting dead outside. Desert Rose. Thorne's eyes hardened. "Get the cars," he ordered. A few minutes later, a convoy roared into the motor pool command vehicles, dust swirling in their wake. Doors slammed in unison. Colonel Thorne stepped out, his expression unreadable. The soldiers froze. Even Davis's bravado evaporated as Thorne strode past him without a glance and stopped before Hannah. He looked at her for a long moment, the grease on her cheek, the quiet steel in her posture, then snapped a crisp salute. "Captain Lewis," he said loudly, so every soldier could hear, "it's an honor to have you back on my base. I understand you know this machine?" Murmurs rippled through the formation. Hannah simply nodded. A little, sir. Thorne turned to his men, voice booming. For those unaware, you're standing before the former commander of Crazy Horse Company. It's the finest tank company in the 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment. She kept her fleet running through 540 days of combat in Al Anbar. During the Battle of Ramadi, she hot-wired a main gun actuator under fire using nothing but a radio battery and comes wire, and saved her crew. Every face turned toward Hannah with awe. Even Davis looked hollow, pale, undone. This, Thorne said, slapping the tank's armor. Was her vehicle Desert Rose, and she just told you what's wrong with it? He faced Davis. Chief, you had the most qualified expert on the planet offering to help, and you dismissed her because of her coveralls. You relied on procedure, not wisdom. You're relieved. Reyes, you're in charge. The words hit like a verdict. Then Thorne turned back to Hannah, his voice softening. Captain, what does she need? They're good techs, sir, Hannah said quietly. They just trust the computer before they trust their gut. She smiled faintly. Sometimes the manual doesn't have all the answers. She walked up to the tank, pocketing her coin again. All I need is a 14mm wrench and a rubber mallet. A private sprinted to fetch them. Hannah climbed onto the Abrams with practiced grace, moving like she'd never left it. She loosened 2 bolts under the secondary intake, not by the book, but by instinct. 3 measured taps of the mallet, then a quick retighten. Try it now, she called. The driver hit the starter. The turbine wind then caught a deep, thunderous roar filled the air. The ground trembled as Desert Rose came back to life. A cheer broke out across the motor pool. Soldiers clapped, shouted, even whooped. Davis stared, eyes wide with disbelief, and something else, humility. Thorne turned to his staff, pride replacing frustration. Gentlemen, he said, that's how experience outperforms procedure. The story spread like wildfire. Within days, the legend of Desert Rose became a lesson across the base. Thorne ordered new training sessions for every mechanic and technician, titled Beyond the Manual, Intuitive Diagnostics. Hannah Lewis, once dismissed as a civilian outsider, became its lead instructor. During the first class, the colonel himself sat in the front row beside both a private and a general's aide, taking notes. New rules went up at checkpoints and maintenance bays, reminding everyone, expertise isn't always in uniform. Respect experience wherever it stands. A week later, in the commissary, Hannah heard a hesitant voice behind her. Captain Lewis. It was Davis, out of uniform now, looking far younger without the rank on his chest. I never apologized, he said quietly. I was wrong about you, about the process, about everything. I let pride get in the way of learning. He took a breath. If you ever have time, I'd love to hear how you really fixed that gun actuator in Ramadi. Hannah smiled, genuine and kind. I'd like that, Chief. I'd like that a lot. She watched him walk away, a man humbled but wiser. Somewhere deep inside the motor pool, Desert Rose still rumbled, alive again, under the same Texas sun. Soldier's legacy, where courage doesn't fade with time, it evolves. If this story moved you, share and subscribe to Soldier's Legacy, where the strength of our veterans and the spirit of service live on. Would you like me to add SEO keywords and tags and commas, like your usual format for this story next? You said, in simple English, ChatGPT said, got it, you want the same story, same plot and feeling, but written in simple. Clear English, easier to read, natural flow, still powerful. Here's the simplified 1,500-word version with your channel name. Soldier's Legacy. Engineers couldn't restart the M1 Abrams until the colonel summoned a woman who once commanded its story by Soldier's Legacy. The Texas sun was hot enough to make the air dance above the ground. In the middle of the motor pool sat a silent giant, an M1 Abrams tank. Soldiers rushed around it, wiping sweat from their faces, trying to fix what they could not understand. A woman stood nearby, calm and still, wearing blue coveralls. Her name was Hannah Lewis. Ma'am, this area is for authorized maintenance only, said Chief Warrant Officer Davis. He spoke politely, but his tone carried arrogance. He lifted his hand as if to stop her, though she hadn't moved at all. Hannah didn't react. She simply looked at the tank. "I am authorized," she said quietly. Her voice was calm but confident. Davis frowned. "Your contractor badge allows you into the simulator center, not the maintenance bay. I can't let civilians interfere." To him, she looked like a regular woman in coveralls, not someone who could help. He didn't see the truth. Around them, the tank sat still, a $40 million machine that refused to start. A big demonstration for foreign military guests was only 2 hours away, and the pressure was crushing. Davis held up his tablet filled with data. "We've done every test. The computer says everything's fine, fuel, air, ignition, but the engine still won't start." Hannah finally looked him in the eyes. "Sometimes the book doesn't know the answer," she said. "You have to listen to the mock."